In Nigeria and across the continent, millions of dreams are being built every single day. Not inside corporate towers, but in the noisy markets, roadside workshops, and creative corners of our cities and villages. From the welder in Kano, to the fashion designer in Lagos, to the smartphone repair guru in Accra. These are the real engines of Africa's economy that are creating jobs, feeding families, and driving growth from the ground up. Nearly 83% of total employment in Africa is informal, with Sub-Saharan Africa reaching 85%, acting as a major absorber of young labor seekers. The sector continues to contribute over 50% to Nigeria's GDP and constitutes over 66% of non-agricultural employment in Sub-Saharan Africa, often featuring low productivity, high vulnerability, and limited access to credit. For too long, this vital sector has been overlooked, undervalued, and misunderstood. Welcome to AISE, African Informal Sector Economy. Here, we step into the streets and workshops to document their real stories, their innovations, their daily struggles, their challenges, and their enormous potential. Because understanding the informal sector is not optional, it is essential for Africa's future. I am Chidera Okere.
My name is Zara, Chizara. Okay, I'm into restaurants, and the name of my restaurant is ShopRite. I had like 4 persons working with me, but presently we are just 2 running the business. Okay. Yeah, because it's not so busy at the moment. So, going by the day, prices of things are increasing, fuel increasing, everybody is putting price into what they are selling for you, like, you understand, so it's difficult. Probably make jobs, like, I don't know how you can make the youth have jobs, make it easy for the youth to have jobs, give us at least stable lights, and then probably give us good roads. And finance, paying the tax is not a problem, but then when you are paying the tax, like, what are we paying for? Because outside Nigeria, it's when you pay for tax, you know what you're paying for, yeah? But here you are paying for tax, you are collecting everything you're earning, and then you are not getting back from the country. We give and not get back. Okay, like chin-chin. I would say my chin-chin is one of the best, actually, because what we use, I can't give you my recipe, I'm sorry, but it's really, really nice. Yeah, so, but I can't give you my recipe. It's a secret because it's really nice, seriously. Okay. Yeah, so we use flour, we use sugar, we use baking powder, we use flavor, depend on what flavor you want. Yeah, so we use other things to make it. We can't tell you, but actually we have good recipe for chin-chin. It's really nice.
My name is Nwapankechi Victoria. God's grace, I'm doing provision store for now, but I started it with global delivery with this one, and I started November last year. It has not been long. Is helping me to empower my family, take care of myself, and also my children, just my family. Current economy is not is not good at all. It's really affecting everybody. It's affecting us, even we that are doing this business. So just as I was saying, sometimes you buy, the price it doesn't remain the same every day. The thing fluctuates. You see the price going higher. So that's how they have been managing the business. Government should help. Even all these small scale businesses like this, sometimes we need loan or maybe grants. Something like grants can help to build a small scale business like this. And when they are doing it, they are helping we that are citizens of Nigeria. If I wake up, I bet I normally resume around 8 or 9 o'clock. And if I come here, I just to clean up, now write down things that I needed that is not here. I will now go and get them. I will go and buy and put. That's how I do it.
My name is President Chuma. Nice having me with you. First of all, I will tell you the name of my company. The name of my company is Da Costa Fashion Concept. Yeah, I am into fashion design. Yes. And again, concerning this work, can I say it's, I took it as one of my passion line because I was having interest on it. And how did this thing came up? It came up when I had my second baby. I will go to work and come back and learn. That was how it started. So during my maternity leave, I proceeded in putting more effort to be able to learn. Actually, I was having passion, and that was why within some months I was able to achieve
what
this
you're doing
right now. Exactly.
That's very
I've empowered like 6 to 8 persons. Why? Because it comes to a time that because of the nature of my work, I'm a teacher, so I only have half day to be able to come to the shop to do one or two things. So I started having a bit pressure concerning the work. So I have to like I will no longer accept more apprentice due to my health condition, because I don't want to be under pressure, unnecessary pressure. So far I've empowered like 6 to 8 persons. The economic situation in this business is really, really challenging. One, you may have some clients that they are willing to sew, but giving them the price, they will like, this small style, you are giving me this huge amount of price. You know, economic has already affected so many people in different way. Like I will say, in this particular business I'm into is really, really affecting. By the time you give people prices, they may tend to say, no, the price is too much. And also, it is not we that determine the price. We also look at the things we buy in the market. Okay, so things that we're able to buy in the market will now determine the price we are actually giving to our customers. Do you understand? So it's affecting because most clients cannot even afford what they want to sew. For example, you may want to, a client will come that I want to sew up and down a skirt and a blouse, and once you give the person's price, like give me 20,000, the person may tend to say, no, I don't have such money, let me give you 10,000. Can you imagine? So that 10,000 naira will not even amount to anything. You look at the stress that you are going into. So you may not even want to work for that particular client because the price is too poor for what they are offering. Government has a lot to do. For example, if they can be able to, go to the communities like this to make survey all these small scale businesses, they can be able to empower them. Maybe, for example, the Coastal Fashion Concept, I did not only rely on the materials or the work I'm doing right now, I also do with ready to wear. Do you understand? Ready to wear, so that it will add to my income. So if government can empower me by giving me some certain amount of money to be able to add up to what I am already doing, I think it will go a long way. Yes. Thank you. This is an airline gown. Okay, actually it's for a maxi. It's for a maxi person. Actually, you understand? The processes are not much. Basically, what we do is that we take the length of the person, the full length, the breast point, the under breast, the half length. Okay, then we take the bust circumference. After the bust circumference, we take the shape or the waist circumference, the hip circumference, the hand length, the round hand circumference, and these are some of the basic measurements for airline. So this is cordless fabric. This is cordless fabric. Okay. So the length of the person I'm making this cloth for is 60. So her breast point from the shoulder to the breast line is 12.5. So I'll make it 13 inches plus the seam allowance. Okay, plus the seam allowance. Her under breast that is from the shoulder to under breast here is 16 inches. Is 16 inches, and from the shoulder to half length is 19 inches. Can I get something? It's not coming out very well. Yeah. Okay, 19 inches. Cut it. Trying to cut the full length of the dress.